welcome back. And we're here in the second half of our program with yet another guest. Chandra, would you like to introduce this guest?
I would love to.
Who will soon become a familiar face.
Yes, exactly. So I'm so happy to bring to you together with me here is Brad Andrus, and he is our Associate Executive Director. Now, Brad has been with us a little over 30 days now.
A little over a month now. Time
Kind
flies.
of getting to be known around the campus.
That's right.
He is. And so this was a great opportunity to bring him, and for those people that have not had a chance to meet him.
Nice to meet you too, Susan.
Brad, tell us a little bit about you. Where did you come? Where did you start? You're from where originally?
So I was born in it. No, I'm teasing.
No, we really would like to trust me. Residents here want to know everything.
Okay. Well, I consider myself a Marylander, although my family's from Kentucky, and I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I'm a Hoosier. I've got family from Kentucky, so I bleed blue when it comes to rooting for Kentucky basketball and football. If you're a football fan, they won a big game this weekend. But I moved to Maryland in '83, and so I've considered myself a Marylander. That was when the Orioles won the World Series and when the Colts left town. And of course, the Colts are gone, and the Orioles haven't done anything since, so you can blame it all on me.
Now we know.
Yep. And so actually, I went to Towson University, and I thought, like any other, Hoosier would do, I wanted to teach and coach basketball.
There you go.
Played basketball growing up, so that was my goal. And then I realized pretty quickly that I would not survive in the public school system, although I love working with kids. I have twin daughters, Macy and Madison, 12 years old, and I've coached every sport that they've been a part of, whether it's soccer, softball, basketball, you name it.
But you didn't want to do it in the public schools.
But I did not want to do it in the public school system, and so I was actually very fortunate that I was working with St. Joe's cardiac rehab program at Towson. And so I started working, with the folks coming in, and I just fell in love, with working with older adults who were, at a point in time where they were, going through a rough period, but then, really overcoming those challenges. And so I just fell in love with working with older adults. I reached out to Erickson Communities. This is 22 years ago. The only communities that existed then was Charlestown, the flagship, campus, and Henry Ford Village out in Michigan. So when I got on the campus of Charlestown, I couldn't believe what I saw. 2,000 residents living on, a 100-acre, campus. And so I was blessed. I interviewed for the, position of fitness specialist, working in the wellness area, and with Bob Katz and Sherry Parrish at the time. I just bugged them until they finally hired me because they were just opening the wellness center. So I did that for a couple years, and then once again, being with a growing organization, Greenspring opened, and I had the opportunity to come here and open up the fitness center and the aquatic center. I hired Brad Hibbs, who was of course a gem and has been here ever since. After a couple years being here, I went to Riderwood, did the same thing for them. Went back to Charlestown after I got my graduate degree.
And your graduate degree is from?
Well, my first graduate degree was from Notre Dame in business, and once I received that, I was given the opportunity to be the sales and marketing director at Charlestown, and then the philanthropy director. I went back, got a second master's degree from UMBC, where Chandra graduated from, in management of aging services. So kind of fitting for the career that I'm in and hope to be for a long time. I did leave the company for 7 years. I was with Asbury Communities and had an opportunity to do more of the operations side. So resident life, the associate executive director at Asbury Methodist Village, and then the executive director for a smaller community of about 400 residents in Solomons, so riverfront in southern Maryland, which was a great experience. and then blessed to come back to Erickson Living,
So you just
working
went out
with
and
Chandra.
gathered some experience.
I did.
Yeah,
I
before
did.
you came back.
So I'm thrilled to be back. I'm
We're
blessed.
glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
And I understand your wife is also with Erickson.
She is.
I met my wife at Charlestown many years ago, and so she is now at Riderwood. Works in their sales
So
and
just around the Beltway.
right around the Beltway. So we're in Davidsonville, Maryland, which is a good distance between both Riderwood and here at
Perfect.
Greenspring. Yeah.
Good. Well, we're happy you're here.
Oh, I'm so happy.
I know Chandra's thrilled.
I'm so happy.
It has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
And it has been worth the wait. I've been really excited to talk about him, but knowing that he has hit the ground running.
Yes, good.
And just his ability to connect, and he fits with the culture of Erickson, and so I'm just really happy to have him
Good.
in the office with Priscilla and myself. But the fact that he's here and able to support the residents and other, we've got the other departments, and so he's just jumped in and, going at it.
And as
I
always, we
appreciate
have a
it.
lot
Yes,
happening.
A lot happening. So
Yes.
I'm really excited.
So what are we focusing on?
Well, Brad has, at this point, we've asked him to oversee resident life. So resident life director position is open, and then we will be filling that. But that department will be reporting up through Brad.
Okay.
And that gives him the opportunity to kind of get back into that piece of the operation.
Right.
As an associate executive director, and part of the Erickson plan is to have associate executive directors go into areas and really hone their skill set so they understand the entire operation.
You'll see a lot there.
Right. So that's why I've asked Brad to do that. And he's then can also provide additional support as that department is growing, specifically in home support, to have his skill sets, his leadership, his business acumen.
It's
is very
growing
important.
in home support because we have more and more people requesting help in home support.
We do, and what it's actually been interesting because they've been going out and talking about the great services, and people are seeing that it's to them makes sense if they want to remain in their home or they just need a little bit of extra help, but not going outside to get the services that the internal
and
services.
I'm so glad that people are
Yes.
are hiring Greenspring helpers
Exactly.
in home support rather than people from the outside.
And along with it comes all of those special protections, which I always say, such as background checks, and the person, and we have
Yes.
control over how they work, and they're just a really good group.
Yes.
And so that's why we've seen an uptick in people requesting
That's
the
good.
services. So he's really been an important part of that.
We have over
Equation.
100 people on the staff in home support.
Yes.
Of the,
Yes, probably more than that.
I want
Closer
to say 120 was the last number I heard.
It's a pretty big number,
Yeah.
and we're continuing to hire more people.
And I'm seeing a new color that some of our home support team are wearing. I'm seeing some purple shirts.
So the purple shirts, they're probably not specifically for home support.
Is that more home health?
It's
I'm
more
sorry,
for
I
home
shouldn't
health.
have brought that up.
Right. So we haven't decided on the
Okay.
specifics. So we'll communicate that so
Okay.
people will understand when they're walking around what the specific colors of
Okay.
shirts are.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
so.
important that we all, although I don't have my badge
The
on
badges,
now for
badges
TV,
are really
but,
important,
but yeah,
yes.
that identification is
Is
critical.
important.
Yes.
And then it gives us the ability to know who's in the building.
Yes.
So it's safety and security of everyone. So it is important.
That's
to
always
us.
troubling for me to see someone without a badge on. And
Yes,
it's
and-
not Greenspring employees, it's the employees that are coming from the outside.
We always stop them. I mean, that's.
Please do.
We're
Please
always
do.
stopping and saying, "Where's your
the other
tag?"
night I was out taking a walk and left through an outside door and met a healthcare worker trying to come in who was not a Greenspring employee. And she gave me a song and dance about, she forgot her badge that she got. She clearly didn't have a badge, didn't have a parking pass, and I wouldn't let her in.
No, that's absolutely
She was not very
correct.
happy with me, but
That's absolutely correct. Thank you.
she was she needed to do what she wasn't doing, and she was clearly probably going to call someone who she was replacing to let her in, but that's not a good situation.
Exactly. So thank you.
Yeah.
And so we've got a lot of great things going on. I know we're going to talk a little bit about resident satisfactions coming around the bend.
Our survey's coming up.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know you touched on that a little bit with Janelle here, and it is important. It's just one of the many ways that we get feedback and input from residents, whether it's comment cards, emails, one-on-one meetings,
Town halls.
Town halls. I mean, there's lots of opportunity for residents to give feedback and input, and so the resident survey is one of those key ways. And so we want to try to encourage as many residents to complete the survey, fill out those verbatim comments. We'll now have the ability to have comment after each section of the survey, which will be helpful. And we review that. We review every comment, and we put together action plans
based on
those comments. So it's
I
important.
would encourage people that if you're watching us and you don't feel like you have the physical strength to fill it out yourself, ask for someone to help you. Ask for a neighbor or a friend or a child or someone else to help you do it. And for those of you who feel more comfortable doing it on a computer, you can do it online.
Do it online.
So there are a variety of ways to get it filled out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if there's anyone that is having any issues with not having a hard copy or being able to take the survey electronically, just come let us know. We want to make sure everyone's voice is heard.
And that's the most important part.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Because for us, it's important because this is really a report card for the team here at Greenspring, the staff, and so wanting to hear the feedback and getting the opportunity to do the write-ins, if that's possible for the resident to do that. And so as Brad said, now it's part of each section.
Good.
And that came back from the feedback from residents saying they felt there wasn't enough space.
And I agree, because my handwriting is not good. And for me to write, I'm happy to be able to do it on the computer, but writing small for anybody is difficult. And one thing that I would suggest to people is that don't just say, this is the worst food I've ever had in the history of the world. Whatever it is that you're upset with, be specific. Say what it is that's troubling you and what would make it better, specifically what would make it better.
And what works really well.
Yes, that's true.
Having read the verbatims, and we had close to 70 pages of them, it's interesting because all the positive comments were one-liners, and then people that had suggestions, and we had actually one person that had submitted almost 3 pages. So because people didn't realize that you could keep going. So use that opportunity to say what's going well, and I always challenge residents to tell us what does go well, because we want to make sure if a wheel is working, we don't want it to retool it and fix it. If
That's
it's
right.
Running well, let's keep it going
Because we have
well.
so many things that run well.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Excellent. They're telling us 1 minute.
Okay.
Anything you'd like to say as a final?
Well, so we've got a couple things going on. The people will see in the lobbies, the monitor has gone up for the GPS.
Good.
Yes, and so the buses have been fitted with a device that will read the system. We're also expecting 3 more buses. Again, this is coming out of the resident requests that the resident council put in for this year. So we have 5 buses total that are coming.
Good.
And I'm hoping everybody loves the digital signs on the side that tell you where they're going.
Good.
And so the GPS piece of it is going to be integrated into those new buses coming in also.
So you'll be able to know from the lobby how soon the bus is coming.
Well, you'll be able to see where they are.
Okay.
Because sometimes still there may be things that happen and somebody takes a little bit longer to get on and get off. So it won't give you the time. This one is just telling you the location.
Okay.
At least so you can plan.
Good.
Kind of where, okay, they're coming. I know they're coming towards me.
Excellent.
So that is really an important piece of it. That's something that the residents have been requesting for a while.
I think that will be helpful.
Yes.
Great. Brad, welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to
Glad to be
working
here.
with you.
Thank you.
And looking forward to seeing you again on Village in Motion.
Thank you.